friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 450. Day in the neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. It is that time once again, my friends, to get into one of these true crime, horror, dark, deep, and mysterious what the is going on type of videos. And today, we are going back to none other than Kyle from Dire Trip. Back to Dire Trip, y'all. Hope y'all doing excelente out there today. And I'm glad that you came on back to the channel once again. Fuck with the bean. And the title of this video is The McCrazy World of McDonald's Crimes. Now, I know all y'all out there have seen, just like me, of them videos of people just in a fast food restaurant, you name it, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, whatever, KFC, Church's, Popeyes, whatever, Arby's, Chick-fil-A, of people just flipping the freak out because they fries cold or something. You know what I'm saying, man? They fries cold and now they ready to just turn the whole goddamn fast food restaurant upside down. And it be inside the lobby, some of those videos you see. It happens in the drive-thru. Like, people will get mad as freak about their food being wrong, man. And I have not only just seen videos of it, I can remember some times in my brain where I seen it happening in real life. You know what I'm saying, man? So I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a great video to watch. But the one thing I want to say is, some of these crimes that Dire Trip is talking about probably may be on some, I hate to say it, y'all, but some murderous-ish, like some real true crime-ish. I don't know, y'all, but I just got that funny feeling because Dire Trip, he never ceases to amaze me. But I digress. We gonna go and get into the video, y'all. But before we go and get into the video, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. We back to Kyle from Dire Trip. Y'all got what y'all need? Y'all ready to go? Then let's go.
McDonald's, an all-American establishment that brings joy, happiness, and obesity to many. While a lot of us look back upon the place fondly, they have been no stranger to crimes, lawsuits, and controversy over the years by any means. Today, let's look into a selection of a good number of the lesser-known McDonald's-related incidents in recent years.
Get whatever you may need.
Today, we're going to get a good look underneath the Great Golden Arches to find out what's going on down there. While you might find a good roach or two while looking under the counters, looking under the roof itself is a good way to find a seemingly never-ending litany of crimes. But, you know, with how many McDonald's there are and how often they're frequented, it's only natural that there's going to be some crimes popping up at some point. So let's look into what are honestly only a drop in the bucket of some of the weirder cases out there. Settle in, grab yourself some Mac Nuggets, and get ready for the carnage.
Let's go.
Something about McDonald's really seems to get people in the threatening mood, and it seems that a lot of people come packing heat to pick up their Happy Meals. Rather than simply generalize, let's start with a very specific example, that of a woman arrested in Cocoa, Florida after an unpleasant interaction with McDonald's staff. A 26-year-old woman named Quavi Young pulled up into the McDonald's drive-thru and began to speak with an employee through the speaker. Quavi came to request a meal that wasn't even on the menu. Naturally, she was told that this order wouldn't be possible as they didn't even carry that item. Well, Quavi wasn't having it. She pulled up to the window where one would normally pay and started to demand that her order be fulfilled. When the employee told her that it couldn't be done and asked her what her problem was, Quavi whipped out a handgun and began to threaten the young woman, telling her that she would, quote, push her shit back. Then
Are you fucking kidding me? This lady here is out of her freaking mind. I'm just gonna go and throw this out here, and I may be completely wrong, but I think she on some drugs. Like, I think she high as hell right now, y'all. Maybe she thinks she at another fucking fast food. Maybe she thinks she at freaking KFC or something, and they sell chicken, or Captain D's, and they sell fish, you know what I'm saying, for the most part. But it's not even on the freaking menu, lady. And you got that mad to the point where you pull up to the window and pull out a gun talking about I'll peel yo you know what back. She gotta be on some ish right now, man. She cannot be in her normal mind, my brothers and sisters. Let's go.
she drove up to the second window where you would normally get your food and waited for her order that she wasn't going to receive. That order wasn't going to be coming. Instead, she got a visit from the police instead, who pulled up pretty quickly. The police found that she had a black Smith & Wesson M&P gun with a drum-style magazine, one that could hold up to 50 rounds, sitting in her passenger seat. Employees at the McDonald's told police that this wasn't the first time that they had to call them about this woman, although they didn't provide details as to what she had done the first time around. Police officers arrested Quavi and took her into jail, booked on 3 charges: aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, open carry of a weapon, and driving with a suspended license. She admitted to the police that she knew her license was suspended, but she really needed some of that McDonald's.
That is just absolutely insane, man. I'm still convinced that she high off something, even though Dial Trip didn't really allude to it. But dude, what in the freak is wrong with people? And then another thing, man, think about the gun that she had. It got a 50-round drum on it. If she really got, it could have ended a lot worse than it did. If she really got like all the way 38 hot, just boiling and steaming, man, she could have went up in that restaurant and just started just laying everybody down. As crazy as she acting. Let's go.
As you might have been able to gauge from this story, there's nothing Florida loves more than McDonald's and guns, and hell, it seems like cookies too. Quavi wasn't the only woman in Florida to pull a gun on a McDonald's employee, not by a long shot. Similar as to in the first story, a 24-year-old woman named Amari Bente Hendricks pulled up into a McDonald's drive-thru and started arguing with employees. Apparently at the time, employees were required to ask you about their rewards program, and if they didn't, you were entitled to get a free cookie from them. Well, it appears that Amari was well aware of this rule and caught the employee in a gotcha moment. Not having been asked about the rewards program, she demanded her cookie. It seems that the employee wasn't allowed to give her one, which sent Amari into a blind rage. She quickly became irate, screaming at the employee, demanding to speak to the manager, and then screaming at the manager too. Demanding a cookie, she pulled out her gun and aimed it at the staff. She inserted a magazine into the gun and racked the slide, showing that she meant business. The manager backed out of the drive-thru window and stepped back into the main restaurant looking for cover. Another employee was stuck in place, looking directly into the barrel of the gun, realistically facing the chance that he might lose his life over a free cookie. The rest of the employees locked up the restaurant. Noticing this, Amari pulled her car around to the front and made her way up to the front door. One of the younger employees failed to fully lock up properly, and she managed to make her way in.
All this over a fucking cookie? She, like, even the fact that she didn't do nothing. Well, she did do something. She pulled a gun on the people at the window. But no, that ain't good enough for her. Now she done got into the damn stove over a cookie. Crazy.
Amari then grabbed the employee by the arm at gunpoint, forcing him out of the building and hitting him multiple times, scratching him on his face and neck before he finally broke free. The police arrived on scene and quickly caught Amari. She admitted to owning a gun, but said that she never made any threats with it. She said that she was simply involved in her own words, a tussle with one of the employees. She said that she always kept her gun unloaded. When the police asked why it was fully loaded and ready to go, she said that she didn't know. Police checked the surveillance footage from the drive-thru, and although the quality wasn't great, it did show her holding what appeared to be a gun in her right hand, inserting something into it, and holding it up to the drive-thru window. She's now facing 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill, among several other charges.
Hold I'm gonna say is I hope that she feeling real stupid while she locked up in jail. Like, I hope that her time sitting up in that cell because she got mad because they didn't give her a free cookie because of some promotion that they was having or stipulation or whatever. It don't even freaking matter. It was a freaking cookie. I hope that she just realized that was a dumb move that she did.
Unfortunately, not all of these cases ended with mere threats. Some of them had some weight to them. Out in Brooklyn, a disagreement between a McDonald's patron, 20-year-old Michael Morgan, and an employee, 23-year-old Matthew Webb, broke out into a brawl. This all started because Michael's mother had apparently gotten some cold fries with her order and Michael was there to stick up for her. His mother, on FaceTime with the restaurant, previously demanded to speak to the manager and complain. The manager, seeing the absurdity of this all, began to laugh. Michael, upon hearing this, was furious and made his way out to the restaurant. The argument ended up spilling out onto the sidewalk where Michael began to punch Matthew and beat him. After not too long, he pulled out his gun and shot Matthew in the neck. Police arrived, arresting Michael there on the spot. Matthew was rushed to the hospital where, unfortunately, he was declared brain dead and put on life support.
God damn, man. All this over some cold fries. And I said that before we started this video, y'all started talking about how people get mad about their orders, the cold fries especially. And literally this man killed this dude, assaulted him and killed him over some fucking cold fries. Like, do people really just go in that much of a rage? Like, and I don't know who I'm talking to when I say this, man. I'm talking to myself too. I had to learn this myself, and I guess it came with age. But no matter how mad you get, because I can get mad as a mother too, but you gotta know how to just take that second to sit back and just get that calm mind. Get back into that right mind and think about what you actually doing. It's hard now. It's hard, but you can do it, man. You got to learn how to control your anger and not let it get out of control. Because this man let it get completely out of control. And he regretting it to this day, I bet you.
After several days, he passed away. It was then assumed that Michael would definitely be facing charges of murder. Oddly enough, Michael's mother, the woman who got the cold fries, wasn't at all appalled by what he had done. She reportedly told the police, "He gotta do what he gotta do." It seems that Michael had gotten the gun from his neighbor, his girlfriend. Now 18-year-old Camelia Dunlap is also being charged with felony weapon possession. The community held a vigil for Matthew, who was apparently a stand-up citizen that a lot of people knew fondly. He was a polite young guy working 2 jobs to put himself through college while volunteering as a church organist whenever he could. Surprisingly though, this story wasn't over. This investigation led to yet another revelation. It wasn't a big shocker that this wasn't Michael's first run-in with the police. In fact, he had a good 13 prior arrests on his record, with charges including grand larceny, assault, and theft. He also had a good number of sealed arrest cases from his time as a juvenile. The real shocker was that he would go on to confess to another murder after his arrest. This was the 2020 murder of 28-year-old Kevin Holloman. Michael said that he had shot Kevin by mistake, being after his cousin when he shot him instead. That case coincidentally only occurred just a few blocks away from the McDonald's in this incident.
Now, ain't that some crazy-ish? He already had murdered before. That's why it was so easy for him to just shoot that man out in public like that after y'all done got into an altercation. Like, you know, if you do this, you gonna be the one charged for it. Like, there is no getting out of this situation, and he still did it. He probably kind of became numb to it by that point because he already had did it before. And then his freaking mama, I don't know. I just thank God I ain't got no mama like that. Talking about, hey, he had to do what he had to do. What, mama? Mommy, are you kidding me? Let's go to the next one. And rest in peace to that dude, too. Rest in peace.
While some people out there will get incredibly rabid over some cold fries, some people will lose their cool over something as simple as the sauce. In fact, out in Washington, D.C., we have the case of a 16-year-old girl who threw her life away, as well as the life of another, over some sweet and sour sauce.
Okay, we done went from goddamn somebody over a cookie acting crazy as hell to somebody over a damn cold fries acting crazy as hell, and now it's sweet and sour sauce, somebody acting crazy as hell. What's next, my brothers and sisters? Freaking ice water? Like, seriously, somebody gonna get mad over some water next. Let's go.
Out at this Washington, D.C. McDonald's, a 16-year-old who hasn't been named due to her age got into a fight with her friend over said sauce. She, the victim, and one other girl exited a car and went into the restaurant where a fist fight broke out. The victim, Naima Ligon, was the third wheel who wasn't part of the fight. In fact, she stepped between the other two girls in order to break it up and calm them down. Well, the attacker didn't take too kindly to this. She took out a knife and stabbed Naima multiple times in her stomach and heart for daring to intervene. Naima was rushed to the hospital, but eventually she lost the fight and was pronounced dead. The police arrived and subdued the attacker, taking her in. She fully admitted to killing the girl in a fight over condiments. The case eventually went to trial where her lawyer attempted to argue that she had stabbed her friend in self-defense, but the evidence clearly showed otherwise. The judge herself was disturbed by the whole incident, saying, "This was really over sweet and sour sauce? It's very hard to make sense of." Naima's mother was also confused, in disbelief that her daughter was killed by someone she had known since elementary school over something so stupid, saying, "I still don't understand how someone who called herself a friend could do something so heinous." She hoped that the attacker would be charged as an adult, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. She was sentenced to 5 years in juvenile detention for what she did, which was the maximum they could impose in these conditions. She will be released when she turns 21. The victim's mother, disappointed, said, "5 years is not enough, but at least it is the maximum. I hope she is rehabilitated by then."
Man, fuck a rehabilitation. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to say, like, talk to her mama like that. You know what I'm saying? I know her mama going through just unimaginable pain losing her daughter. But she murdered that girl and got 5 years in prison, y'all. 5. That's it. 5. I don't care nothing about no juvenile, goddammit. And I don't know, because I go back and forth on it, back and forth as far as these juveniles and kids. If they should get life in prison. So I don't know if I'm going to say life in prison, but 5 years ain't going to teach us shit. You can at least give her 25. That way, by the time she didn't get out, she done been up in that motherfucker for a long time, and maybe she'll get out and actually change her life or whatever. But 5 years, I'm sorry, I disagree with that. 5-year maximum sentence craziness. Man, we got to change some of these goddamn laws and shit around here, y'all. They got to be more practical, man. Like I said, I understand she a juvenile, but bro, she gonna spend she gonna get out when she 20-something. She still gonna have a whole life ahead of her, and she done kill somebody. Ended their life. What is she gonna learn from that? See, she might be another case like the one before, what the dude already murdered somebody, and then he murdered somebody else. She might be another case, bro. She get out then what? 1, 2, 3, 4 months later, 1, 2, 3, 4 years later, she done murdered somebody else and stabbed somebody else to death. Oh man, we just gotta change some of that. And I know I just went on a tangent, but I just had to get that off. Let's go.
Her father, likewise, said that this sentence wasn't justice, but was, in his own words, a form of justice.
That's BS.
Luckily though, not all of these cases end in death. It might not be much consolation, but some of them only end with a mere beating. In Milwaukee, a 19-year-old woman, Debreka Jones, pulled up to the McDonald's drive-thru ordering a bacon breakfast sandwich. Well, she didn't get it. Instead, she was handed the wrong order. After handing the bag with the wrong order to the customer, the employee at the drive-thru turned around to walk away, only to feel the bag of food hit her in the back of the head. "What the fuck is this? I didn't order no sausage biscuit," screamed Debreka. She pulled her car over and came into the restaurant, coming up to the counter to complain to an employee there that their order wasn't right. The manager then apologized and offered her a refund. Debreka accepted the refund, but came back to confront the manager again for some reason, this time coming behind the counter. This
bitch done lost her goddamn mind. That bitch done walked behind the counter like she getting ready to clock in. Wow.
Was when a 17-year-old employee tried to get in between them and break up the fight before it escalated anymore. Well, Debreka wasn't having it. She grabbed the girl and threw her into the fry station, cracking her head on the machine and then on the floor. Then Debreka fled the restaurant. The employee was taken to the hospital, feeling dizzy and nauseated, and treated for a concussion. With the CCTV footage, it wasn't long before Debreka was caught. The police arrested her and charged her with battery and disorderly conduct, 2 misdemeanors. She was, for a little more than 2 weeks, in the House of Correction and was released on probation. She's no longer allowed to go to McDonald's as a condition of her release. It appears that she now works as a caregiver, according to LinkedIn.
How ironic, a caregiver? But no, man, one thing I want to point out about that, y'all, if you pay attention, the girl that she threw or slammed or whatever, that'll be the right word, threw into that frying station, she was a couple of inches away from her head, maybe, or some kind of way end up, or maybe she could have hit one of those baskets. What I'm saying, she could have got burned the freak up right then. Like, she was close as hell to that hot ass grease. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But this lady had some balls on her or whatever, man, just to walk back there and do that. You know you're on camera. I'm glad. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Because of the videos we watched before this. I'm glad that that's all that happened, though, because some of this stuff we watched before this video, these people out here murdering people over the most ridiculous-ish ever. But let's go.
When it comes to McDonald's, the sandwiches are one thing for sure, but it's the chicken nuggets that are truly serious business. A 12-year-old girl in Harlem was eating some McDonald's, chicken nuggets to be precise, when one of her classmates, a boy her age, noticed her eating and came over to bum a nugget off of her. She told him no, which he wasn't very happy to hear. He asked her one more time, to which she responded again, no. Well, the boy wasn't about to let this slide. He started stalking her, and when she finally left the restaurant, he decided to follow her out. He followed her to the 103rd Street, number 6 train subway station. When it looked like she was alone, he approached her, pulled out a gun, and again demanded she provide a nugget. She refused once again. He put the gun to her head, but she smacked it away and told him to leave her alone. She then simply boarded the train and left. The boy got on the train as well, where she saw him showing the gun to another kid. The next day, she told school officials who, in turn, told the police. The boy was soon arrested and taken into custody for attempted robbery. They didn't find the weapon, but the case was sent over to the family court in the end for them to pursue action.
That's a crazy story on a couple of different levels, man. Number one, over a chicken nugget, bro. That's number one, a chicken nugget. All these stories just been over absolutely nothing. Pretty much a chicken nugget, a cookie, cold fries. All this is no reason for people to act like this. But another thing that is crazy is the girl wasn't scared. Dude actually put the gun to her head and she knocked it away and got on the damn train. Like she knew he wasn't gonna kill her for real or something. I don't know. That was a weird one. This has been good so far, y'all. We halfway through it. Let's continue.
While some people out there may be ready and willing to kill someone over some chicken nuggets, some people would like to go even farther. Some would prefer a nuclear option. One man out in Iowa, Robert Gollitzer Jr., went through a McDonald's drive-thru and decided to order some good old nuggies for himself. When he got home, he realized that the employees had forgotten to include his dipping sauce. He was irate. He called up the McDonald's and flew into a rage and began demeaning the employee on the phone. He then threatened to not only punch that employee in the face, but to come down to the restaurant and blow it up with a bomb. The restaurant took down his phone number and the name on his caller ID and called the police. They arrested him out at his home and he admitted fully that yes, he had threatened to punch a man and blow up a restaurant over some dipping sauce. He was taken into custody and charged with 1 count of making a false report of an explosive or incendiary device, a Class D felony. He was thrown into jail, but he soon posted a $5,000 bond and was released. Robert waived his right to an early hearing. It seems that he's looking at up to either 5 years in prison or possibly a fine of over $10,000.
You want to know one thing, y'all? Because we keep hearing about chicken nuggets. Now it's all about the chicken nuggets. People get mad over dipping sauce, sweet and sour sauce, and all that. When I was little, man, when I used to really eat McDonald's a lot, as a little child, your mama, you go get your Happy Meal and stuff. I used to love the fucking chicken nuggets from McDonald's, y'all. Like, seriously, with the sweet and sour sauce. With the sweet and sour sauce. That was my favorite meal from McDonald's growing up. But overall, and even as an adult now, when I do eat McDonald's, my go-to is the number one. It's the Big Mac. Duh. The freaking Mac sauce, dude. The freaking Mac sauce? Are you kidding me? Like, I love Big Macs now. But when I was a kid, man, because they keep talking about these chicken nuggets, I'm starting to think about it. I used to love chicken nuggets when I was growing up, man, with sweet and sour sauce. But this dude right here, he just another one. I'm glad he didn't actually do nothing, but people don't understand that you can't be out here making threats like that. You making bomb threats and doing this to people and that to people. Like, dude, you just can't do that and everything be okay. Let's go to the next one.
Sometimes it isn't even the food, though. Sometimes it's the drinks. I mean, have you ever wondered what would happen if you bought a cup of water and then filled it up with a soda anyway? Well, you might find the answer to that in this case. In Springdale, Arkansas, an 18-year-old man tried just that. Cody Morris, along with 2 other unnamed young men, went through the drive-thru and ordered nothing but 3 ice waters with their food. They had a little scheme in mind. They would get that water for cheap in the drive-thru, then come into the store and get soda as a free refill. What could go wrong, they thought. Well, the answer to that is a lot. The manager came out and confronted the 3 men, demanding that they return the sodas they had unjustly filled. 2 of the men relented and did just that, but Cody did not. Cody ran back out to his car with the soda, not willing to give it up. The manager followed him out, attempting to take the keys out of the ignition and failing. Then, the manager, incredibly dedicated to not losing this $1 drink for some reason, jumped in front of Cody's car in order to prevent him from leaving where he was struck. The police were called and they soon found Cody parked at a nearby bowling alley, enjoying his drink. They charged him with felony robbery and threw him into the Washington County Detention Center.
I gotta say, man, I feel like that manager was doing a little too much. Like, dude, it's just a freaking drink. You putting your life on the line to save him from taking some drink that you really gonna have to throw away anyway. You know what I'm saying, man? The only thing you can do at that point is freaking pour it down the drain. Ain't like you gonna give it to another customer. And it's like, that was just real petty to me, y'all. Yeah, maybe y'all feel different, but ain't no way in the hell I'm finna go out there over $1 drink and stand in front of a moving vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is just, I don't know about that. But I'm glad he got caught, because in the end he was wrong for it. He was wrong. He was in the wrong. So yes, I am glad he got caught.
So how about we look into a case that's almost the exact opposite, where someone does get a Coke and they are very unhappy with it. Well, let's just say that the man and his family in this case definitely have a pretty good reason to be unhappy about it. A young family man in Utah named Trevor Walker went through the McDonald's drive-thru with his wife and kids, ordering 2 Happy Meals, 2 chicken sandwiches, and 2 Diet Cokes. Once they got home, Trevor sat down and began drinking his Coke while watching his kids. This was when he started feeling very strange. First, he lost control of his fingers. Then, he started to panic as he lost feeling in his arms and legs and started to dissociate. He said, "As I started to shift my body, I started to sense almost like a lapse in time, like between the time I would move my hands, there was a delay." When that feeling started, he texted his wife, "Something is very wrong with me. I am having sensations in my arms and everything is moving slowly. I'm feeling scared. I don't know what to do." Shortly after sending that text, he blacked out and collapsed into a nearby table before falling to the floor. His wife quickly came back home and took him to the hospital. While waiting at the hospital, she compared her Diet Coke to his, noticing that his drink had some little speckles and some kind of film across the top, something neither of them had noticed due to the lid. Trevor's wife called the police and reported the drink. They took it out to the crime lab. There, they confirmed that it had been spiked with a heroin substitute called Suboxone, a combination of buprenorphine and naloxone. It is indeed a film-like substance that dissolves in your mouth. To make things worse, it seems that it had a negative interaction with some of Trevor's prescribed medication, which is what put him into this condition. Luckily,
Damn.
Trevor recovered, and he decided to sue both McDonald's and Coca-Cola for what had happened. It seems that the lawsuit is still ongoing, but it's unclear as to whether or not it will actually go anywhere, with McDonald's saying that they have no control over the day-to-day actions of each of their employees. In response, it's being argued that they should have been providing adequate supervision and training. McDonald's has since said that this is optional. We'll just have to see where this goes.
And see, that's one of those stores that make you just not even want to eat out nowhere no more. Don't want to trust getting your food from complete strangers, trusting that they'll do the right thing. Because one of them employees probably tried to freaking drug him or something. Or was just doing it to random people. We'll watch stories from Dial Trip about people going out in public. I'll give you one example real quick. I remember a story about, it was this man who went out into grocery stores putting like little tiny little pieces of a razor blade, just in very tiny pieces into meat in the stores, and then people was going home eating the meat and they freaking swallowing razor blades. So you know what I'm saying? So it is like, it is very believable that that shit happens, and it just make you not even want to goddamn go to McDonald's, man, when you hear stories like that. And I don't know nothing as crazy as putting a drug in somebody's drink or nothing. But let me tell you one story real quick. And I'm not going to give you all the full details. I'm not going to tell you where I heard this story from. But just know I heard this story, my brothers and sisters. And I know it's real. There was a family member who used to work at Captain D's. A family member of mine who used to work at Captain D's. And long story short, story long, there was a lady who came through the drive-thru, and I can't even remember how the lady who came through the drive-thru, and not my family member, but the girl, it was a girl who was working in the window. My family member, and I don't even want to say her name or allude to her name, but my family member, she was working the cashier. So, okay, you got the girl and a lady who came through the drive-thru. And for some reason, I don't know why, I can't remember if she told me or not, because she told me this story when I was little, and I still remember it to this day. But they got into it about something. They start arguing about something, yada, 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 whatever. Okay, do you know that the lady in the drive-thru literally, from what this family member told me, and I highly doubt she freaking lied about this story. There was no reason to lie about this. The lady in the freaking drive-thru, y'all, before she gave the lady in the customer, her food, because they had this argument and she was pissed off at her, she got her hand, put it in her drawers, up her you know what crack, and smeared it all over the lady food before she gave it to her. You know what I'm saying? Just the thought of somebody doing that make you want to throw up, and you never know if somebody have done it to you at one of these restaurants. Digging all up in there, you know what, and then putting their hands all over your damn food. Now, I'm not saying it was visual, like she could actually see the SHIT on her food, but just the hand after going up in that. Let me stop, my brothers and sisters. The long story short, story long, man. Don't trust people out here, man. That's all I can say. I don't know. Don't piss certain people off, because you never know what they'll do. Let's go.
While some people do sue McDonald's over matters that one might find reasonable, there are plenty of other people out there who are trying to get money out of the massive corporation for things that you might call a little frivolous. One good example is this case in which a married couple attempted to sue McDonald's for $5 million over getting some cheese that they didn't order. Their argument was that getting a burger with cheese costs slightly more than getting one without, so McDonald's is unjustly ripping off their customers by providing cheese by default with a small upcharge. So these two deserve $5 million for it. They said,
$5 million? Bitch, you'll be lucky if you get your damn change back, or a refund at the most, I give you a refund, but you think man, stop it.
These products cannot be purchased either separately or part of a value meal without the customer being overcharged and being compelled to pay for unwanted and undelivered cheese. McDonald's is being unjustly enriched by these practices because it receives payment for cheese it does not deliver to its customers. McDonald's themselves put out a statement saying, "We do not believe the claims in this lawsuit have legal merit. The advertised quarter pounder burger comes with cheese. We try to accommodate our customers' requests by allowing them to customize their orders, such as a quarter pounder with no cheese." They also stated that the menus have clearly laid out set prices. Well, after months of battling, the judge threw out the lawsuit with prejudice, meaning they can't file another lawsuit on this topic again.
That bullshit should have got thrown out. If I was a judge, I would have looked at that shit for about 5 minutes and just grabbed the fold, closed that bitch, and just threw it over my shoulder. Like, get this crazy shit out of here. $5 million? Come on, man. You gotta do better, y'all. These crazy ass motherfuckers, they gotta do better if they wanna at least be taken seriously.
So far, a lot of these cases have involved hatred, violence, and trickery. Well, not all of the McDonald's-related crimes out there involve hatred. Some involve love, like self-love. A good example would be the case of a 61-year-old man in New York who went to McDonald's to use their Wi-Fi for a little self-fulfillment. He hopped into the restaurant and pulled out his tablet, turning on some good old pornography and having a nice leisurely watch. Police were called on the man, Todd McMillan of Bayshore, New York, after employees complained that this wasn't the first time he'd been caught blasting porn in their store and kicked out. It appears that McDonald's was his usual viewing grounds. Todd was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct.
Are you kidding me, man? Dude, if I was to walk in a McDonald's or anywhere like that, any fast food restaurant, and I start hearing some, I would be looking around like, what the fuck is going on in this bitch? That shit would trip me the fuck out. I know I'm stupid, y'all. I look at the dude, and I seriously think I would bust out laughing like, what the hell? I might fall on the floor like, this man crazy as hell in this motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? Dude. And then not only that, now this the part where I would get mad and I would go off on his ass, because I'm thinking about that part, which is hilarious to me. But the part about him beating his you-know-what, now that's the part where I would go the fuck off, man. It's kids in here when you're listening to the but for you to be sitting right there with your thing out and now you just, come on, bro. You can't be doing none of this, bro, in public now. It's kids in here, it's men in here who don't want to see it like me, and it's women like, dude. I've been mad about that part, but just the thought of somebody in freaking McDonald's on Pornhub with the speaker blasting, that would be such a what the going on type of moment if I was to walk into it.
While Todd was out there playing with his own nuggies, some were playing with the nugs of others. In fact, out in Connecticut, one young couple in their 20s was arrested for doing just that very thing. Rory Clark, 27, and Kimberly Honorado, 28, were seen by McDonald's employees getting it on in their car in broad daylight in the front seat after getting their meal. Even worse, they had a 6-year-old kid who was in the back seat, completely awake and aware of what was going on. When employees saw that the child was not only there but also watching, they called the police immediately. The police rushed out and found a partially naked woman in the front seat, seemingly grinding upon a man. Police were shocked to see the young kid alert and awake, but seemingly undisturbed by what was going on. The couple told the police that they were just cuddling, with their pants off, at a McDonald's. It goes without saying that the police didn't buy this explanation. Both of them were charged with second-degree breach of peace and impairing the morals of a minor. Online at least, it isn't clear what happened to the child afterwards. Both of the adults were thrown into jail and later released on a $5,000 bond.
That one right there just got me like, is this real what I'm listening to? First of all, you freaking having sex in public. Like, literally. That's just first of all. You got people walking around. You at McDonald's parking lot. That is just crazy. Second of all, whatever, my brothers and sisters. You got a little child in the back seat. Like, man, listen, man. That any child who have to, how are you raising this child? What did this child supposed to think? Number one, you're having sex in front of them and they are a child, but you also doing it out in public. So you pretty much telling them that what y'all are doing right now is okay in public to do. That is just one of those ones I was just like, what the fuck am I listening to? Let's go.
Now, it's admittedly not my intention to get you to hate McDonald's, but if the sight of people jacking it and getting it on right there on the premises doesn't prevent you from going, maybe something like this will. In Coolum Beach in Australia, a man named Anton Valley was digging into his lovely McDonald's burger one night at about 2 in the morning after having a good few drinks. Being dark out and having a pretty good buzz, he didn't really get a clear look at his quarter pounder. If he did, he might have noticed that the thing was pretty raw. He got about 3 good bites in before he noticed that the burger tasted a little funny. He pulled out his phone and used the flashlight to see 2 patties that seemed like they hadn't even been cooked. Maybe partially, but the meat was clearly still raw. This was when he said that his stomach was, in his own words, wrecked. He felt a strange sensation in his throat and began to projectile vomit all over the place. He started sweating profusely and shaking all over. He called into the store to tell them what had happened, complaining that they sold him a raw burger. They asked him to hold on to the burger until he felt up to bringing it back. He did as they said and was offered both a refund and a replacement. Needless to say, he wasn't in the mood for a replacement burger.
And the moral of that story is, before you eat your food, especially when you're getting it from a restaurant or whatever, examine your food. Look at it. Take a look at it. Make sure everything all right. Take the bun off. See what's on the bun. Look at the meat. Like, seriously, y'all, man, because me personally, and I know that a lot of y'all out here have found this too, hair in your food. That is one of the worst things ever, man. You go get you some nice Zaxby's or whatever. You know you ready to eat those chicken tenders and all that. You get home, you ready to eat it. Then you open the damn thing up and you see somebody damn hair on it. It just make you not even want the whole plate no more. It just ruin and complete your whole mood. So I just, man, thoroughly check your freaking fast food out here, man, before you eat it. We almost through, y'all. Let's go.
Did you really think that it would just be one person getting sick from McDonald's? Try hundreds, about 400 in this case. In Illinois in 2018, there was a huge breakout of cases of explosive diarrhea that were all traced back to McDonald's salads. Now in Illinois, there were a good 109 cases alone, but this was an incident that was affecting a good portion of the United States, 15 states in total, with the victim count reaching about 400 people over a short period of time. It appears that Illinois and Iowa McDonald's were the greasy ground zero, but the infection quickly spread within days. McDonald's took notice and switched out their salad for another blend shortly after. 3 months into the booming butt blasting, McDonald's still didn't know exactly what was going on with their salad that was causing the ailment. It was pretty hard to tell as the infections had been linked to all of the salads they had on their menu, not just one that they could isolate and throw out.
I think it's the freaking lettuce. Well, there go the picture right there. And I think that's what it is, man. But damn, where y'all getting this lettuce from for months? Like, this has been going on for a while, over 400 people. You know what I'm saying? So y'all have got new batches of lettuce in. Whoever that farm place or wherever y'all got that from, they probably got shut down or sued or something. But let's go.
All of the victims had contracted what is called cycloporiasis, which is caused by the cyclospora parasite. It's something that will, without a doubt, cause both vomiting and hellish explosive diarrhea for about a week or even as long as a month once you contract it.
Ooh.
It kind of goes without saying that many of the people in this video won't be getting McDonald's again anytime soon, and hell, after this video I have to wonder if you might be turned off a little bit as well. I honestly don't have anything against McDonald's in particular, but it's just weird how many McDonald's related crimes I seem to come across accidentally while researching other cases. There are tons of them out there. Like I said before, these are really only a drop in the bucket, so if you have any more that you know of, feel free to put them in the comments and I might make a sequel to this video at some point. Special thanks to a website called Law and Crime, which compiled a list that gave me a pretty good jumping off point for this research. Now, let's go get some burgers and call it a day.
Man, my brothers and sisters, I said that Kyle was gonna take us on a trip, and that he did. Like, seriously, man. It's what do I even freaking begin with this? This video had freaking murders. It had people threatening people. It had people beating people up, attacking people. It had people a lot of 400 people, over 400 to be exact. You know what I'm saying? Getting a stomach virus from it. You had your classic case of people not freaking, the employees not cooking the food all the way, and somebody getting sick. Like, this was just a lot of different crimes, y'all. And I had a feeling that Dial Trip was gonna deliver us a lot of strange, true crime, bizarre ass cases. Like, seriously, y'all. This was freaking great, man. It's so many of them, y'all. So I'm not gonna even go all the way back through all of them. I'm just gonna say that, man, they was all crazy. And the thing that stick out more than anything is the fact that it was over a cookie. It was over cold fries. It was over McNuggets. Like, seriously, man, the reasoning behind these people doing a lot of this stuff as far as these crimes, it was over, you got my order wrong. Like, it was just, all this shit was over nothing. Long story short, story long, that's what I'm trying to say, man, at the end of the day, dude. And I do feel like a lot of those people regretted some of the stuff they did. And don't forget the sweet and sour sauce, too. It was over sweet and sour sauce while that girl sat up there and stabbed, not even stabbed the person that she was into it with, but her friend who was trying to break it up. Like, man, over sweet and sour sauce. Like, bro, I think some people really regret some of this craziness they did. But regardless of they regret it or not, you did the crime, you got to do the time, right? You got to do the crime. You got to do the time, my brothers and sisters. But I digress. I feel like I have talked long enough on this video, man. I really could go on for another freaking 10 minutes talking about all these cases, but we ain't gonna do that. I just appreciate y'all coming on back once again. Please come back tomorrow because we are going to Adrian from Coffee House Crime. Please hit that like button, comment, and subscribe if you ain't did that either. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. But until then, my friends, just remember this. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.